Welcome to Gong Jiao episode 7.
Okay, I definitely cannot make the chicken noise in Batman's voice. Ah, shit. Okay, I think that's a pretty good intro.
So okay. So what are we talking about in this episode, Jeremy?
We're gonna talk about the Batman.
Where are the energex going?
Donde está los dragas?
Yeah, so we actually talking about the parallels between Batman Begins, the movie that we watched, and what the fuck is happening in the US right now.
Yeah.
So earlier this week, the night I was actually talking to you about this idea of drawing the comparison between what is happening in the US and Batman. It's because I was watching Batman to begin with. I just happened to turn on Netflix and
click on Batman.
Yeah, and I saw Batman. I was like, because I vaguely remember what went on in the film. I was like, hey,
right.
It's kind of like what's happening in the US. Like people just mass panic, and people living in the city, they don't care, if it's a crooked cop or whatever. They're just trying to live their lives and not get into trouble, and not challenge the status quo.
Right.
Which was what was happening, before this whole movement started back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I suddenly like, maybe there are deeper parallels than that. Like the characters inside the film, they might reflect, certain real life characters in US political system and even the police. And so that's why I brought it up to you that night.
Okay.
And
so what was I doing? Is it in terms of preparing? I mean, I was hit with quite a bit of social media regarding Singapore's racial issues. I actually kind of wanted to get into that. I mean, I told you about it also, right? To get into this whole thing, since race is a big thing now. But then more and more as I looked into it, I was like, isn't this kind of like the all lives matter situation where we're kind of detracting away from the real problem that's happening right now in society? Like, I guess
when people call out like, hey, your country has its own racial problem, calling that out, that is equivalent to the all lives matter. Is that what
I wouldn't say it's equivalent to all lives matter,
right.
But I feel it's like, it's kind of doing what all lives matter does, where you don't really focus on the problem at hand, right? And the problem at hand is not, Singapore's racial issues. Singapore has racial issues all the time, right? It's been around for a very long time. We cannot have protests because we'll kena jail. So, I think it's difficult to bring it up. And like, so, when shit like this goes down, a major world issue, it's not really a world issue also, it's a US issue, but like USA number one. So like the whole
I think it's convenient for us to slip it
bring
into
it
our
up,
conversation.
Hey, I want to salute, right?
Salate
Essentially like that. Yeah. So, but I feel like, it's something that can wait. Right, it's an issue that needs to be addressed and all that. But right now, right at this moment, I don't know about that, man.
I think
like, maybe we should.
Though.
Yeah, of course. But
there's
no
better time to.
I tell you, the best time, right, is Racial Harmony Day. Like, then we bring up all these things because that's.
So I think, but people who mention like, hey, your country got its own racial issues. Why you bother so much about Black Lives Matter? I don't think they are equivalent, as you say, to All Lives Matter, but they just don't care as much. Whereas people who suddenly who care about Black Lives Matter, I think they do realize racial issues in Singapore is a thing, and that's why they are talking about it now. So they are piggybacking on the Black Lives Matter thing to bring up issues that is happening within Singapore. because it's not that often that it gets talked about.
That's true, yeah.
When it gets showcased on the world stage. When Black Lives Matter happened, then everyone's tuned into the news, and on social media, people get to see what happened as a result of one particular racial group being mistreated, being stereotyped. It's out there for the whole world to see, so it's easier for them to bring up this issue like, hey, there is such things happening in Singapore as well, even though it's not that serious yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they disregard, Singapore's racial problem.
That's the thing. That's what I want to get at also, right? It's not that I'm saying that they are disregarding Black Lives Matter, but some of these posts that are coming out, some of these memes and all that, they seem to be, pushing forth the agenda that, just because Singaporeans care about Black Lives Matter means that they don't care about their own racial issues.
Right. There is a few ways to look at this thing as any other issues.
I mean, it's fine to bring up stuff. I mean, that whole RJC thing resurfaced, right? Yeah, stuff like that are resurfacing, They all in blackface lah, and then they wishing him happy birthday. And
yeah. Oh, okay, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's a little fucked up. Not a little, very fucked up. And I mean, like, I've seen a compilation of like Singapore's photos of people doing blackface, brownface in this case. Right, there was this one famous bank also who had some kind of events night, and then it was Indian theme, and then people were going there dressed up in, dressing up in saris and all that, fine lah. But then people were coming down with brown face. It's like, what the fuck? Man? Yeah, I mean, just go Google like Singapore brown face, and look at all the shit that has happened.
What's that campaign?
The advertisement, right?
Dennis Chew kena.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a systemic issue as well when it comes to race. I just feel like, I wish people brought this up more often, right? Not when shit hits the fan like for other countries, right? And then like, I don't know, like you bring this up now, so then like it kind of get overshadowed by the main thing that's going on right now, which is Black Lives Matter.
Okay lah, then if we choose timing, like nothing really much happening in Singapore, then we start like then it doesn't get watered down by any other thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now confirm kena charged by the ISA already.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. See you guys.
See y'all in 38 years time.
Next episode will be in the prison. Right. Okay.
So I brought this thing up with Jeremy about looking at the parallels between Batman and what's happening with the world right now, especially in the US, and we thought it would be a fun episode to talk about film and also about current events that's happening right now
in our cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, and not only in the cultural zeitgeist, man. I mean, bats are plaguing 2020, right? We start off with coronavirus, which, if you didn't know, came from bat. Bats also carry like the highest amount of different coronavirus strains. So who better than to deal with the fear of bats than Batman?
Batman being Superman.
I would like to start off with a quote from Batman Begins. This was something Bruce said to Alfred, and he says,
"People need dramatic examples to shake them out of apathy, and I can't do that as Bruce Wayne. As a man, I'm flesh and blood. I can be ignored, I can be destroyed, but as a symbol, I can be incorruptible. I can be everlasting."
So I think the parallel here that we're trying to draw is that Black Lives Matter, or the BLM movement, equals Batman.
It's Batman.
Yeah, is Batman, right? Because this whole thing that's going down, right, is that everlasting symbol, that incorruptible movement, right? Some people are gonna go against, some people are not gonna agree with it, but generally, people want to see a change, and there's this symbol of hope that they are looking towards.
Right. And even as a symbol, it doesn't mean you have to be a black man or black woman.
Exactly.
It can be anyone that is under
Yeah,
that
it can be anyone.
under that hooded mask. So yeah, it goes back to the idea of it being an idea, a concept. So what is the concept behind? What is the concept of Black Lives?
What is the concept of Black Lives Matter?
Yes.
Is that Black Lives Matter?
Okay, can pass.
Okay, can I A upon A? For
A
that.
upon 10. A upon 5.
You see, I mean, like, there was this comedian, I think I shared a video recently, Michael Che, CHE, right? So there's this stand-up comedian that Kevin Hart also was posting about it, right? He has this little segment where he's talking about Black Lives Matter.
We can't agree on anything anymore. As a country, we just can't agree. We just fight about everything. We can't even agree on Black Lives Matter. That's a controversial statement. Black lives matter. Not matters more than you, just matters. Matters. Just matters. That's where we're starting the negotiations. Matters. We can't agree on that shit? What the fuck is less than matters? Black lives exist. Can we say that? Can we say... Is that controversial?
It's so stupid, right, that we even have to debate this, that Black Lives Matter, right? That we're starting off with basic, that these individuals, their lives matter.
Yeah.
Isn't that a fucking given? Like, isn't that something that should have already been established? And the fact that it's a controversial statement, and the fact that people can argue against that, right? That's the insane part.
Before we go into more quotes, should we break down into which characters we've identified?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Right. Let's break down which characters represent, this whole crazy situation that we're going through.
So we've mentioned Batman is Black Lives Matter as a movement.
Yep, is the movement, the symbol, right?
Which makes Alfred the allies naturally.
Yep.
Because he's the one behind the scenes, crying over whether Bruce is gonna get hurt.
Right.
And
yeah, so these are the people.
As much as Batman is the Black Lives Matter as a movement, the symbol of the movement. Then who is Bruce Wayne?
Interesting. Who is Bruce Wayne? Bruce Wayne is black people, I guess.
Yeah. He's the victim. He's the victim of systemic racism, which in this case is the death of his parent. When he's killed, the act of Joe Chill killing his parents is the racism that they've endured for these many years.
Okay. Right.
But that's my take. I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good. I was looking at it as, all the victims, right? All the people that have been wronged directly, all the innocent lives, black lives lost from all the police killings and all that. Them as Bruce Wayne, right? Alfred as the black people, essentially, right? The allies of... Alfred here is multiracial, which I like also because, like, in the film, he's a British guy in, like, Gotham, kind of out of place, not really his taiti also. So I feel like Alfred represents anybody else, right, that's not directly involved.
Not directly involved, but you are backing...
Yeah, you're backing
people
it
who
up.
are wrong.
Yeah, right. You're helping this symbol and movement progress, right? Speaking of which, I think like TikTok and the kids on TikTok, there's this new movement on TikTok, which I was like, wow. So it's kids who challenge their parents. So they will film themselves, racist, I think #racist parents. They will film themselves talking to their parents and trying to explain racism and all that, and then you just hear this bombardment of like racist ideology coming from the parents and them trying to justify their racism while the kids just plea and try their best to reason with them as to why they're being racist and why it's not okay.
But does it
I think
go anywhere though?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think okay, whether it goes anywhere to the parents is it?
Yeah, to the parents.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I really don't know. But at least, from a societal standpoint, it's going somewhere. We can clearly see problems. Like there was this one kid who was, I watched it, she was talking to her parents about it, and then you can hear the dad just going, oh, these are black animals, just
Jesus
right then and there.
Christ.
Yeah. Just straight out like that,
Do you know how many
I actually, no, shut up.
No.
Can you shut your mouth for a minute?
No.
Because I actually work in the ghetto. I see the people.
Do you know why they're in that
physically go and I
position?
see these people.
Do you understand the systematic
They
and
get all
historical
kinds
reason
of
for why they're in
chances
that
and
position?
They don't care. All they want to do is be ghetto.
No.
Yes, there's
No.
some that don't, and there's good people. and then
No.
there's- Most of them just want to suck off the system or do something bad like drugs or gangs. And that's all they
They
care
have
about.
been oppressed. They have
It
not been
doesn't
given
matter.
the
They
same
get the
opportunities
chances.
you have
Yes,
had.
they do, and there's plenty of black people.
No, they
There's
don't,
plenty of-
Dad.
there's plenty of
And you not
minorities.
recognizing that as an issue is the reason why it's still continuing today.
I see them all over. There's all kinds of successful people that are of color. It doesn't matter what color, brown, white.
But it's a
orange,
lot harder for
yellow.
them to get to that
It doesn't
position.
matter. When they do, they're fine. But there's always filthy animals. And that
You're
is-
calling people of color black
No.
animals. You're calling them animals.
I'm talking. You didn't
Are
let me
you
finish.
kidding me?
You didn't let me finish.
That's not
I'm
okay.
talking about the
No,
trigger
no
part,
matter what,
too.
that's not okay. No matter what, it's
It
not
is
okay.
okay.
Racism is not okay. Why do you think that racism is okay?
And so it's like, you imagine these are the kind of people, right, in these positions, like your hospitals, your teachers, and even your police officers, right, who harbor these very, very racist ideologies and sentiments.
Right.
And yeah, nobody's
When you
called
put
out.
them in a situation of like meeting a black guy.
Exactly, right? Then that's it. It's gonna act out, and it's gonna manifest. And that's, one of the issues. And so, these videos that they're filming, it brings up all these things to take a better look at, what's actually happening. So, yeah, good job, TikTok kids. Not bad. Yeah, so that's Batman and Alfred.
Alfred.
Who's next?
Falcone.
Falcone. Okay, I think we got difference in opinion here. All right. Who do you feel Falcone is?
I said Falcone is Trump, right?
Yeah, you said Falcone is Trump.
Yeah. Because, maybe it's because of the part that caught my eye first lah. That's when
Okay. The what that caught your eye
Scarecrow,
first?
the scene
Okay.
where Scarecrow was talking to Falcone because he got caught and he's in
Okay,
jail
okay.
already. Yeah, in that scene, he did not know what the master plan was, which was to drug the whole city. They thought it was, just holding ransom, and it's a money grab lah. That's when I saw the parallel between Trump and Falcone, because he is kind of like a puppet figure
Right.
in this whole thing. Be
And
it
yeah, especially if it's
Russia,
a money grab, right?
Be it Russia
Yeah.
or not, and yeah, money grab, and he kind of portrays himself as kind of the boss figure, the character he was playing in the Apprentice. That's
Right.
when I saw it last.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of parallels to that as well.
So
Especially if
so
you
for
watch Dirty Money.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, who did you think Falcone?
So for me, my conspiracy brain was trying to link up like all the evil villains in the show, right? So I felt that Falcone was actually the white racists who hold power in society, the assholes lah, right? Yeah. Today I just saw a photo on Facebook, right? Like a bunch of white supremacists. They were like, Black lives don't matter, holding up signs, Black lives don't matter, white lives are the only lives that matter. And, they were just proudly holding the photos, smiling into the camera, putting it on social media for everybody to see. because that's what they believe in. Yeah, so these assholes, the people that have the power to do something like that, and go unchecked, right? Not Yeah, that's why I admire Singapore for our Sedition Act. You do some shit like that, that's it, man. You get thrown in the goddamn jail, which is where you belong, in a cage, right? But yeah, unfortunately, America doesn't have the Sedition Act, freedom of speech, woohoo. But yeah, I feel like Falcone is these white supremacists or racists, and so because he is working for Scarecrow as well as the League of Shadows, so then I drew the link to Scarecrow therefore being Trump, right? The puppet controlled by the shadow government, right? The people who are in actual power. I honestly feel that presidents, especially US presidents, is just puppets. It's like two sides of the same coin. Democratic Republic doesn't matter. It's who is in the background controlling that shit.
Mostly corporations.
The corporations, the ones who are making money, the ones that are lobbying for these people to come into power, right? So those are your people that are actually in power, that are actually in control. And so yeah, Scarecrow is Trump, right? And the League of Shadows is the League of Shadows. Ra's al Ghul is the shadow government, the people who are actually in power in this real world, And yeah, and when I was looking at Scarecrow also to, justify him as being Trump, right? I was looking at how in the movie he uses fear to disrupt society. And Trump does it in a similar fashion also. So, he's openly like, I mean, he's pretty much racist lah. Although the media does manipulate him in many, many ways, like the whole immigrants thing when it first came out. He went to rallies and he talked about the problem for illegal immigrants, right? Getting illegal immigrants out of the country. But everyone turned it, or the media spun it into just all immigrants get out of the country. Yeah, it kind of detracted away from that lah. But, he uses his fear also. Right, build a wall. I'm going to build a wall around the whole country. I'm going to keep people out. And there's this, sense of fear, isolation, which I see from Scarecrow as well. And like, in the later scenes where shit goes down in Gotham, right, where the chemical is released and everything, right, Scarecrow's just riding around on a damn horse, scaring the shit out of people, of a little boy, right, crouching down, and then he's just on his horse. Right, I feel... Yeah, right. And then I feel Trump is the same thing, man. Right? He's just this idiot who's just fear mongering, riding around on his horse, just scaring people, while the real shit happens in the background. Yeah, so that's what I drew. And yeah, if you look at what's happening right now with Trump, it's even more concrete also. There was this article on CNN about how disappointing it is because Trump has now officially just abandoned everyone. Yeah, fled from his duty. White House, the lights all off lah, and then while he's hiding out in a bunker, right? And all he's doing is like, he's riding his stupid horse.
You mean Dr. Crane's not in at the moment?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Dr. Crane's not in right now. Yeah. See, Trump, that's Trump, man. And he's doing stupid shit like fighting with World Health Organization on Twitter lah, condemning China over the Hong Kong protests. Exactly, right? Just riding on their horse, and just scaring people and doing his own stupid thing while the League of Shadows operates in the background. Right. So yeah, that's my take on Falcone, Scarecrow, and the League of Shadows.
So who are the good guys here?
Okay, yeah, Guy, why don't you get into the good guys?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw Lucius Fox, immediately thought of him being the social media, the platform where all these movements have been organized.
Yeah, they kind of push it, right?
Yeah,
as well.
Because you follow a certain hashtag, they will drop like information on where this rally is gonna happen, at what time, and like which are the places to stay clear of, because there's an amassing of armed police forces, so it's like, okay, stay the fuck out of that area. And yeah, just like in the film, Lucius Fox is the one supplying all the toys, all the tech, all the cool technology, and
Yeah.
the social media has been the one technology that's helped out all these disempowered people. It's given them a voice. It's given them the weapon of togetherness. We are in an era where people in power are trying to separate people into separate silos. The whole divide and conquer thing. Who else? Rachel. At first, I thought she was an ally.
Like Alfred's role.
Yeah. But then she is working in the DA's office. She's the one affecting all the policy. So right off the bat, definitely the good politicians out there right now who are trying to make a change, who are trying to push for all the guilty police officers who actually killed those innocent black people and trying to make a change in this system. Not political system, but just this system in which America has been.
I guess it's a bit of political. It's like a bit.
It's
of
a bit
social.
of political. Yeah, it's like how would you describe it? Like
like in our previous podcast when we talked about racism being used as a technological tool.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, lah. They have to go through many like different layers to undo this.
They have to jump
thing.
through a lot of different hoops.
So political systems, courts of law, mentality and mindset of the people, right? All those things.
It's just red tape war. It's hard to describe what they have to go through just to make a change.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Gordon, I had a hard time deciding who.
Okay.
Because in the end, it kind of seemed like Gordon is also
like an Alfred.
No, not like an Alfred. He's a bridge between the viewers watching the film and Batman. Because besides Alfred, right, he is the one who is trying to understand where he's coming from, like
where Batman is coming from, right?
Yeah,
right.
Like why is he helping? He's always been trying to figure out, why is this Batman character trying to help? Like
got ill intentions and all.
Yeah.
So like when I saw Gordon, right, I felt he's a lot like, he is a cop after all, right? And I feel like in this situation, he's the representation of the good cops. The cops that want to push for Batman, for Black Lives Matter, right? That want to see this movement come through and have that change occur. Because I've been seeing so many videos of police officers, standing up, speaking to the people, talking about how, they don't want these injustices to carry on. And so I kind of saw like Gordon, because Gordon is one of the few officers that are willing to work with Batman. And so if there are officers out there, instead of just all cops are bad, all cops want to shoot black people, right? There are good cops there who are really there because they want to protect and serve people, who will not judge an individual based on their race, right? And
so have you heard of the thing called Blue Lives Matter?
Yeah. I've seen that as well.
So again, for that thing, right, there is like two sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Like one is like, Blue Lives Matter, we put our lives on the line, try and serve and protect the citizens, but then we are getting all this shit.
Right.
Like, so Blue Lives Matter, because, we are putting ourselves on the line.
Yeah.
And there's the other side of the coin of Blue Lives Matter, where it's like...
Well, now again, they're trying to overshadow Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why. It's like the same thing that we brought up just now also with Singapore's racism and, Black Lives Matter. So it's like, I don't really know where to place it. It's important, but then I don't know, man. Right? It's so difficult.
Yeah.
I saw this funny ass post though. Blue Lives Matter, right? So it was a post of this, like, it's this cute little innocent girl, right? She's holding up a poster, "My daddy is a cop, Blue Lives Matter." And it's a Facebook post, and you can see in the comment section, "Fuck off, bitch. all cops are pigs. And then I'm just like, what the fuck? It's like such an innocent, post that, and then just got
Just got
shit
swept up in
humanity. That's why.
Okay, that's the whole thing about this movement again. On the one side, you have the peaceful protesters. Then on the other side, you have people who are riding this wave and like fucking looting the whole place.
Yeah, and
people
just
actually causing
carrying
chaos.
out their own chaos because they want to.
Yeah, you see those videos of like, certain people who are not even black, they dress up as like hooded and
in the
those.
full black, right?
Yeah.
And then they purposely start breaking windows
start burning things and like.
Yep. I mean, I've seen some really weird shit, right? Like people talking about how like a whole stack of bricks will be delivered where protests are organized or peaceful protests are supposed to occur. And then like people will notice like, hours before the protest, there's this like stack of bricks just there.
Right.
And then, there are these like individuals dressed up in black hoodies and all that. And I think there was trying to start some shit, right? And I think there was a post actually I saw today of this one of the hooded individuals. They got a nice camera angle on him. He had a earpiece connected, and
receiving
then people
instructions.
Right. And then people were like, "So what the fuck is going on? Like, who's the one behind this, starting the the violence and all that shit?" And the dude, poor thing, his ex-wife called up.
Of Shadows.
Yeah. See, it's always the League of Shadows. And but the poor guy got called out. His ex-wife recognized him in the mask.
Ex-wife.
Yeah, dude, ex-wife. This one out for blood, man. This woman, her respect. And then she was like, she called him out, and then they did some research and they found out he's actually a police officer also. So it's probably one of the assholes who want to kill people, who are there just to destroy lives instead of protect and serve. And they are the ones that are going to incite this kind of violence and turn peaceful protests into violent ones so that everything gets detracted away from the actual thing that matters.
Right. Yeah, I think that's most of the characters.
The main characters in the show, right?
Trying to break down into the parallel. I mean, the last one is Falcone's thugs, which are racist as fuck people.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now let's get into the plot and the things that certain characters said that
unfold. Okay.
Yeah, that seems to reflect what is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so we went through the one about Bruce Wayne, where you
as a incorruptible symbol, right? Yeah, and people needing dramatic examples to shake them out of apathy. So shit has to go down, man. There has to be this level of chaos for people to really see an actual problem.
Right, so you have a quote that says,
"But I know the rage that drives you, that impossible anger strangling the grief until the memory of your loved one is just poison in your veins. And one day you catch yourself wishing the person you loved had never existed. So you'd be spared your pain."
This is Russ talking to Bruce after he falls into the ice, right? And then they are both like sitting there at a fire, and then Bruce is like freezing his ass off there. And I think this quote is quite important, right? And it's quite poetic to what it speaks to what's happening now, right? And it's rage that's driving people, and it's this anger, and it's just losing a fellow black person because this dude has been, and so many black people have been innocently murdered because of this systemic racism that's going on, right? And
how is this the League of Shadows though? How is this the Illuminati? Would they even have this empathy of saying, I know the anger that you are angry with, but
this to me is like that saying, keep your friends close but keep your enemies closer, right? It's like you don't want to be found out as the League of Shadows. You don't want to be found out as this secret person or entity of people controlling society. And so you empathize with them. You express, what they're feeling. You understand what they're feeling, right? You mirror what they're feeling.
Right.
But in actuality, you're the one causing all of this, right? I mean, the only reason why Ra's could sit with Batman and say all this shit is because he knew he killed Batman's parents, right? In the later part of the film, when Batman's finally confronting him, and then
so this is even worse than being not say worse. This is different from being a sociopath, right? Because a sociopath can't even empathize with whatever the other person is feeling. Right.
They can't. Okay, that's the scary thing about psychopathy. It's not that they don't know how, it's that they don't feel it, but they can express it. So they clearly know what sadness is or what these feelings of rage is and all that, and they can express and show empathy, but they don't actually feel it.
Right.
See? So that's the fucked up part. Like, I mean, okay, so you do something bad to somebody, right? You feel shitty, like, fuck, I made this person cry, right? I feel like a douchebag right now. I feel like an asshole. This person can say that, can go up to you and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I should have done that. Feel like an asshole for doing that. But they don't actually feel that, right? They don't actually feel like an asshole. They have no sense of guilt whatsoever. They don't feel shit, right? So that's, yeah, exactly, right? So that's Ra's al Ghul in this scene, and the way I see it, it's like if problems don't get solved, right, and the people who are truly in power, because it's the real people that are in power that implement this level of racism that perpetuates throughout society, right? The sickness, and if they are never found, or we don't really realize why these things exist, right? Then these are your League of Shadows, and they just continue to persist and carry out these bastard things, to society, while showing that they, understand pain or grief of somebody.
So
when you're the one.
Plain sight.
Yeah.
So I guess that ties in nicely with one quote. It's not who you are underneath, it's what you do that defines you.
Right. Both Rachel and Bruce. Technically, Bruce said this one, Rachel said, it's not who we are underneath, right? It's what we do that defines us. But I think it ties
so
in.
it doesn't even matter what you say to the other person. It goes back to the whole action speaks louder than words.
Yeah, so, if these people in power actually really, really care, the hidden billionaires in society and all that, they'd be funneling money into making society a better place, rather than feeding their own selfish needs, right?
Yeah, there's only so many people who you see donating to science.
Yeah, who are
for the
philanthropists,
whole, vaccine for this virus.
Exactly.
I don't know, maybe they did and they remain anonymous.
Yeah, could be that.
Hopefully there are people like that out there. We don't know.
I hope. And I hope that the League of Shadows doesn't really exist. But my conspiracy brain says otherwise. So yeah, I do I really believe that? I don't know, man. I mean, I've always put forth this analogy, right? Like imagine the group of our friends, right? 7 of us guys, right? If we were multi-billionaires in this world, right? And we could have major influence and power over this world, wouldn't the 7 of us also therefore want to use our influence and power as much as possible to shape the way that we want to see it?
Yes. So complex.
Yeah, I mean, as humans, we all do, right? We all have, some level of that need for control, and stemming from whatever self-esteem issues we have, but it's there. we feel that need to control. We feel that God complex to some extent, as long as it doesn't become an actual problem, lah. But yeah, so if you had all that money and power, wouldn't you and your friends want to shape the world the way you see it for the better, according to you?
Right,
So to me, that's
you have the influence. You have the power of influence.
Why not, right?
Why not use it?
Yeah,
Don't let it go to waste, right?
Precisely. So how can I therefore not believe, that that the League of Shadows doesn't exist?
So what is the MO of the League of Shadows?
To restore.
In real life.
Okay, you see, in real life,
In real life,
like our world,
Yeah.
shit.
then we can draw back to what Ra's al Ghul said about.
Only a cynical man would call what these people have lives, Wayne. Crime, despair. This is not how man was supposed to live. The League of Shadows has been a check against human corruption for thousands of years. We sacked Rome, loaded trade ships with plague rats, burned London to the ground. Every time a civilization reaches the pinnacle of its decadence, we return to restore the balance.
So what do you
You
think?
know, I
the purpose
would
of-
of our League of
of our
Shadows.
League of
is-
Shadows is?
I'd say it's somewhat similar to this idea that is expressed in the film as well, because I
So
think there are good.
self-righteous, lah.
Yeah, it's that I know what's best for society. I stand high up on the ground. This, you look at the people, right? You already distance yourself from the people when you're the 1%, right? There's no way you can feel what it feels like to be a homeless man on the street.
Right.
There's no way you can know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck, having to worry about when you can put food on the table. These things are completely off, ever since you were born, right? Because the real 1%, right, they didn't make it there. This has been wealth of family accumulated over
It's
time.
a legacy thing.
Exactly, right? That's the only way you can be a multi-trillionaire, right? Not even talking about billionaire here, we're talking about trillionaires, right? So yeah, I mean, these people are already so detached from the everyday people. So it's inevitable that you would see them differently, right? And so you would then therefore have this complex in a way where you would see them like that. Only a cynical man would call what these people have lives. And then you would therefore want to enact your own form of righteousness or how you see the world works or the way you want the world to work, I guess. As for the real purpose behind it, I don't know, man. Right? Like the actual, is it greed? Is it money? Is it power? Is it
All of the above.
Yeah.
All of the
I
above.
think so, right? Yeah. Everlasting life, formula for immortality. Maybe they already have that. I don't know.
I mean, these are things that have been chronicled over the ages, like kings in search of the elixir of life.
Right.
It's this obsession with, like, people in power. Like,
Right,
what we talked about last episode.
Exactly.
It's a fear of losing that power that drives
Right.
them.
Yeah, so they could very well be doing that. And in fact, if you look at the comics, it didn't come out in Batman Begins, but if you look at the comics, Ra's al Ghul, he has that, the Lazarus Pit, right? It's where he
Immortality.
soaks, and then he just comes back to life, completely recharged to live through the ages again, which is why the League of Shadows can continuously exist throughout society, no matter how long. So is that, have our League of Shadows found the Lazarus Pit? I don't know. Maybe. GG.
They upload the consciousness onto the internet.
Possibly, yeah. But
They can
I think
hear
I read.
everything we are saying now.
Go ahead, man. Here, it's okay. I'm Mr. Nobody.
Right. What's the next quote? Okay, the next quote I thought was okay. I mean, the movie definitely took inspiration from real life. That's how it came to be that economics was the weapon of choice for them.
Right.
Over the ages, our weapons have grown more sophisticated. With Gotham, we tried a new one, economics. But we underestimated certain of Gotham's citizens, such as your parents. Gunned down by one of the very people they were trying to help. Create enough hunger and everyone becomes a criminal. Their deaths galvanized the city into saving itself, and Gotham has limped on ever since. We are back to finish the job. And this time, no misguided idealists will get in the way. Like your father, you lack the courage to do all that is necessary. If someone stands in the way of true justice, you simply walk up behind them and stab them in the heart.
I mean, it is what is happening right now. So, I think I had this conversation with my dad. Right now, it's pretty much almost heading to a world war, but it's going to be a world war that's not fought with conventional weapons. But with economics. It first started off as a trade war between US and China.
I know, right? Yeah.
And right now you see countries or continents, they're starting to close off from each other. And especially during this time, during the pandemic, there's limits on trade and flow of goods, not what it used to. So it's definitely accelerated the agenda of certain countries of being protectionist, limiting inflow of trade so that they reduce their trade deficit, so that the economy is not being fucked by the other person who's trying to flood it with cheap goods. Yeah, so it's not a war that's reported or people don't see it as a war just yet. But I think it's a war nonetheless. And like what we said the last time, when you limit trade, people are less well off because there's no specialization. The use of resources is less efficient. Yeah, which is basically what happens during a real conventional war, right?
Yeah.
Like, trades start declining. People don't have access to goods that they used to have. Yeah, it's just on a less obvious scale now.
And yeah, we have to evolve to that also, right? Because sending troops and dropping bombs is not going to do any favors to anyone in the way globalization has worked.
Right.
Because of our globalized
even if
world.
you do that, then guess what weapon the US has? Fucking trade sanctions, huh?
Exactly.
Economic weapon, what?
Right. Yeah. So you want to conquer Singapore, you drop a bomb on us, that's it, we're fucking useless, right? All our industries and everything, our real value is gone. Right? So nobody's gonna do that, right? If you wanna start a war, you gotta do it in a different way, right? And yeah, I guess it's evolved to economics.
Yeah, not even past economics. I'm pretty sure there are. The latest one is information. With the whole messing
fake
with
news and
fake news, messing with the elections, all this type of espionage.
Right.
Next one, a bit philosophical. I don't know if it is one that can summarize this whole movement right now.
So I chose this quote. First of all, this quote actually didn't appear in the Batman Begins film. It appeared in the teaser trailer of the film. Also, public service announcement. If you do want to check out, trailers of a film, I suggest you stick with teaser trailers and not the official trailers, because teaser trailers are designed by the director of the film and it gives you a very good idea of the tone of the film. Trailers are normally designed by marketing agencies and they are meant to sell as much tickets as possible. So you're probably not going to get the right image of the film. And on top of that, sometimes it's filled with spoilers as well. A classic example would be the Australian horror film, The Babadook. And the way it was marketed, it was made to seem as if it were a creature flick which people, tend to like and will flock the cinemas to watch. But then the film was actually nothing like that. And so people walked out of the cinema, disappointed. So yeah, if you do want to check out trailers, stick to teaser trailers. So check out this quote from the teaser trailer for Batman Begins.
They told me there was nothing out there. Nothing to fear. By the night my parents were murdered, I caught a glimpse of something. I've looked for it ever since. I went around the world, searched in all the shadows, and there is something out there in the darkness. Something terrifying. Something that will not stop until it gets revenge. Me.
So I chose this quote because I feel that we, as much as the allies of BLM, the people directly involved, the black people, Batman himself, Bruce Wayne himself, right? If we're not careful with this, I want to fight against the power. I want to fight for my rights. I want to see justice. You're going to blind yourself, and you're going to turn yourself into, a monster if you're not careful. If you let revenge and hatred and all these negative emotions overcome you in times like these, I mean, I understand, like, if these emotions come, they are the initial response to something, right? Because that thing is traumatic, that thing is painful for you. But if you get blinded and lost in it, right, this revenge and this pursuit of revenge, which you convince yourself is justice,
You get stuck in
then
that mindset.
yeah, what really happens to you then?
Yeah,
Like when
I
this-
guess just now when what I wanted to say, like what was
Mhm.
going in my head was, I think this quote actually ties back the whole thing that Batman is, the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and Bruce Wayne is the other black people who have been on the receiving end of the injustice that society has caused them over the many centuries. And
Mhm.
there's always that rage in them, or that rage or sense of unfairness, injustice that they want to get out of the system. But because they are still in that situation where they are receiving these injustice, there's that tendency to go overboard sometimes,
Right.
just so they can break out of it. But in the process, they end up breaking themselves.
But in the end, right, no matter what happens, even if you pursue this racism and all that, and you realize that you've gone against the very things that you set out to achieve, Alfred will always be there for you, lah. And he will come there and he will drop the...
Why do we force? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Right, so I mean, we're fallible creatures, lah. We will fall.
No matter how righteous.
We'll all fall someday. Even like what's happening now in Singapore, it's like, even if you feel angry because there's racism going on here, and then people are straight away jumping on this BLM movement, and nobody gives a shit about what's happening here. You're letting, in a way, you're kind of letting the hatred and the injustices that you face, overcome you. And I don't want to say that I'm not, feeling that as well, right? When it first started, I definitely felt it as well, right? I definitely want to talk about the problems here as well. But then there's also a part of me that's like, don't be selfish, lah. There's something else going on right now in the world that's bigger than what's happening here. So, why focus on what's happening here? And then there's that other part of me again that goes, hey, but you should care about your own shit and what's happening here in this country. Yeah, it's a never-ending battle, man. Which is why I can't, can't like focus on what needs to be focused on also when it comes to this whole thing about BLM and whether or not we should talk about racism here in Singapore.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is. When would be a good time?
Like I say, for me, I say Racial Harmony Day, man. Go for it.
Yeah.
It's the day to call out this bullshit where racial harmony doesn't actually exist to some extent, where racial harmony actually exists to some extent.
Right. It's almost like a lip sync.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, maybe on Racial Harmony Day.
Yeah, I think that are we gonna wrap up?
Yep. I think that about sums up this episode.
Yeah. And then again, I mean, if you guys have any other interpretation of this film and how it plays out,
Or if you have ideas of other films that are, mirroring what's happening in society right now.
yeah, feel free to reach out on wherever we are. You know where it is. we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as Gong Jiao Wei. Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye bye.